Hello and welcome back, guys. We are going to be here for the main stage draw. I am Blue Panda, joined by Mop. Mop, it's been an interesting season 3 so far.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen some twists and turns, some interesting play styles for sure. But definitely the teams with the play styles in which you're just looking at them and you're like, what are you doing? Have been weeded out as we come to our conclusion for who is in the top.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, a couple of fun things to note during, the play of the group stage anyway. We have had only 2 series go to a map 3. So it's been a lot of clean sweeps in terms of, the numbers of maps played. It's been a rather fast season, all said and done. We do have the standings going into groups, so the play-in stage as well, all done and dusted. But, I mean, looking at the scores, it's not necessarily what we expected in terms of the seeding as well. It's going to make for a bit of an interesting reveal. Now, We'll probably start off with Group 1. It's obviously the best place to start off with. Obviously, Group A, it's going to be Insidious, Vague, Lethality, and Fatality. Now, unfortunately, it is only going to be Insidious and Vague moving through because Lethality and Fatality weren't quite able to make it. As it stands, it is Insidious just sitting slightly higher up the standing. They're actually only one place above Vague at the moment. Although, in saying that, you look at it as, so currently it is Insidious sitting above Vague by 1 position, and that will, definitely influence the seeding in terms of who plays who in the playoff. Vague coming up with a bit of an interesting result in that last game they played tonight. No.
Oh, absolutely. I caught a little glimpse of that just after our game. I was looking at it and I was like, is this what game is this? What game is this? Definitely not what we were expecting for the epic finale of that little series. But hey, what can you do? We do have our winners though, and Cities definitely deserve to take that out. So yeah, that was quite an interesting game.
Yeah, and we'll get them up on the screen in terms of where they're sitting and seeding at the moment. They are going to be playing out of the 5th and 6th position. So, the people that they are going to be playing up against, surprisingly, going into this, it will be Insidious sitting in 5th place, Vague sitting in 6th. So, Insidious, I mean, realistically, they should be the favourite of the 2 teams coming out of the situation. Vague, the attitude going into the last match might be a little bit iffy, especially if, considering who they're playing up against could be a rough situation. I think we'll move on to Group 2, shall we, Mop?
Yep, I reckon.
Alright, so Group 2 was August, Altered Edge, Unrefined, and Downfall. Unrefined won't be making it through, unfortunately. Downfall disbanded, so unfortunately they don't even have a chance. It will be Altered Edge just scraping through. They did find themselves in 8th spot in the end of things. August, though, do secure themselves 3rd place. Unfortunately, because of the fact that Downfall did disband, it means they didn't play a 3rd and final match. It does mean that round difference comes into effect as well, because if they had played that, I think they possibly would have taken 1st because the round difference was pretty significant. But due to that unforeseen situation, they will find themselves in 3rd. So, going into the brackets, it means that it will be Vague facing up against August, which realistically, it's a bit of a hit of karma there, Mop.
Whoa, how's that, mate?
Yeah, it is going to be ex-Skybound playing against Vague in the first round of the playoff stage. Realistically, if August play the way we know they can, it will be an early knockdown into the lower bracket for Vague. Altered Edge are going to be playing the first seed of the tournament, which we have yet to announce, but it is going to be a hard push for them considering how they're coming into it. Group C is one of the groups that we finished watching tonight. It was Crusaders and Seventh Heaven, both who made it through, and it was a big change up after the result of that match, Mop, considering how we thought things were going to go. We thought it was going to be a bit more even, and if we do get that up on screen, it was Crusaders starting off in 5th position. From 5th position, they got knocked down to 7th, which is pretty big. They were in a position to take 2nd, and as a result of Seventh Heaven's win tonight, they find themselves as 1st seed going into playoff stage.
I think they definitely deserve it with how they played today, man. Like, Seventh Heaven just absolutely dominated the match against Crusader. And, although that, props to Crusader for playing an equally good game, Seventh Heaven definitely deserving number 1 seed. And just the way they played, the way they adapted, and just the absolute sheer fragging ability of each one of those members. Remember Wazoo? God bless the man. Can't wait to see him, how he turns up throughout the rest of the series, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the 2 teams that didn't drop a single map going into this tournament. They won off a round difference. 30 rounds for. It's a massive achievement, so definitely well played to them. They are going to be having potentially a little bit of an easier run going through the upper bracket. They will be playing Altered Edge to start off with the team. They did scrape through. I mean, there's potential for any number of upsets in this upper bracket. We will just have to see how things go. But going into our final group mob, Group 4 has a couple of powerhouses in it. At least one that I know for sure. Skyfire and Monarch were in Group 4 with Mentos and Plague. Unfortunately, Mentos and Plague weren't able to make it through. So it will be Skyfire and Monarch making it through. The stats will be jumping up on the screen at the moment. Skyfire finds themselves the 2nd seed. They were just cut out there, and round difference alone. Monarch are going to be sitting in 4th position. So it's a pretty solid performance out of Skyfire. Unfortunately, they did have to play their last one with a sub and their manager as well. So it wasn't the performance we expected out of them. But it does mean going into the bracket as it stands, it will be Monarch versus Insidious and Skyfire versus Crusaders. This is an interesting bracket, and I mean, there's any number of teams that could take it at this stage.
I mean, definitely, from what we've seen, there are a few teams that are definitely up there. I mean, who do you reckon? Who do you reckon's going to get in the top place there?
I mean, at the moment, the way I see it, top 3 in my mind, after the performance we saw today, Seventh Heaven going to be contesting it. Skyfire, if they bring their core roster, and unfortunately don't have to bring on any subs, definitely a contender for that spot. Auglis are definitely in a position to take that. We've heard some stuff going on behind the scenes. We're not going to spoil any of that, but they have been playing spectacularly in some of their scrims. They've been taking games against some very, very good teams as well. So they're definitely my favourites. In saying that, Vague, if they aren't memeing, can play an incredibly good game. We saw them take out the match against Insidious when they did play against each other. A match that, again, it was a similar situation to Crusaders versus Seventh Heaven. We thought it was going to be far more even than it was. It was Vague taking it out 2-0 in that series. So it is potential if Vague decide to show up and play serious, they can actually make it quite through. I realistically, though, I imagine it will be from the lower bracket, considering who they've got as first round draft. It's ex-Skybound. It's Auglis. They did separate from them earlier on. Monarch versus Insidious, I see that going Insidious's way, just purely because of the fact that I know how good Insidious can play. In saying that, though, Monarch did actually do a pretty solid performance against Skyfire in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, they were playing against only 3 of the core roster, but they have potential. The one that I'm picking to go all the way through the upper bracket, though, is Seventh Heaven at this stage.
Yeah, mate, honestly, I'm going to have to buy my Seventh Heaven freaking jersey. And I'm just looking forward to these guys just absolutely pushing all the way. Although, I reckon I'm pretty confident saying Team Skyfire. Skyfire is just going to pop off, honestly. And I think it's just going to be a death match between Skyfire and Heaven. Although, in saying that, anybody can win. I don't think we can say definitely one team's going to win. But, man, I don't know. 7th Heavy jersey might get signed by the team. I don't know, man. Something could happen here.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to going to the later stages. I mean, a grand final between any number, like even 7th Heaven and Skyfire, 7th Heaven and Auglis. Skyfire Auglis could make for one of the greatest series in the tournament so far. But in saying that, that is us done and dusted for the night. We will be getting into group stage, the playoff stage in the next wee while as well. May 8th is when things are going to be kicking off, with the first and second match of the winners bracket round 1. And from there, it is all going to be kicking off. But as I said, that is all done and dusted. Mop, let the people know where to find you. You've been having some big stuff going on in your personal stream, I hear. So we might as well try and grow that as much as we can.
Well, yeah, mate. I'm streaming, obviously, at Mop from Malta. If anyone wants to chuck me, chuck me, I'm not asking for anything big. If you want to suss me out, boys. I'm just a dude. I hardly think I'm anything just yet. But boys, that's where you can find me. Might be hitting up tonight. Who knows? Who knows? But what about you, Blue Panda? Where can they find you, mate?
I am at NZ_Blue Panda on Twitter, so make sure you check me and follow. If you do want to help support us, obviously, make sure you follow the stream. Follow our socials as well, so you can find out what's going on. Our Discord is there in the chat as well, if you do want to get involved going into Season 4, which will be happening later this year. But in saying that, it was not quite the result we expected tonight, Mock, but it does make things interesting going into group stage. So make sure you guys check in for that. May 8th, it will be kicking off, so in 2 days' time. Not long to wait, but we will be done for tonight. We'll see you later, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go chuck Mop a follow, and we'll see you on Friday.
Hey, yo, boys. Okay, have a good one. Hey, yo, mwah.